Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my live stream, man. I hope you guys are doing okay out there. As you can tell in the description and the thumbnail, tonight we're going to be discussing Candace Owens. And she made a tweet. She made a public tweet on September 13th stating that what we knew about the late Charlie Kirk, like, we have no idea what really was going on with this gentleman, because we are under the assumption that this gentleman was taken out based on the words that was coming out of his mouth over the years, that people was very angry at Mr. Charlie Kirk for the things that he was speaking, the things that he was talking about in public. And a lot of people, such as myself, a lot of people is under the assumption that he was just assassinated because of his words. But then Miss Candace Owens, she made a tweet stating something completely different. So it left me wondering, like, what really happened to this gentleman. I'm going to show you the tweet first, and then we're going to get into her latest video that she released in regards to the story. And this woman, she's another controversial woman. Like, why I was deciding if to make this story or not, because I don't want to ruffle people's feathers. I'm not one of those people to get going. I don't like to go in back and forth arguments with people, and that woman is a very controversial woman. Like, her whole presence on social media is all about controversy, and how can she stir up controversy. She's like a Andrew Tate. She's one of those type of women. Like, and when I say one of those type of women, I don't mean it in a bad way. Like, to me, she just like starting stuff, like stirring up the pot to get reactions from people. So I don't want, I was really deciding, should I actually make this video? Should I actually get on live and talk about the situation, about this lady? But hey, I decided to do it. And first, guys, I'm going to show you the tweet that she tweeted out on September 13th. And after that, we'll go into the video that she just recently released. I'm going to show you the tweet right now. Once again, man, this lady, she's a very controversial woman. She makes a lot of controversial things. All right, there goes the tweet right here. And the tweet specifically said, Charlie Kirk was fighting with some very wealthy people. Basically, he was fighting with some people with money. That Charlie Kirk was in debt. That he was in debt with those people. That he owed a bunch of very successful people money. That's the tweet that she tweeted out on September 13th. Listen, you guys got to bear with me, because I'm just learning to do all of this stuff. So I'm just going. I'm learning on the job. Basically, I am learning on the job as I go. But this is what she tweeted out on September 13th in regards to Mr. Charlie Kirk's death. She claimed that he was in debt with a bunch of wealthy people, that he was under tremendous pressure to pay back that debt, leading up to him getting assassinated. So she is claiming, basically, I'm going to say allegedly, she's saying that what we think that happened, that Mr. Charlie Kirk got assassinated based on his words over the years, that he ruffled a lot of feathers and he got a lot of people angry. No, she's saying that basically this man lost his life, and it's a possibility It could be because of the people that he owed, that he was in debt with. He was in a lot of, and once again, that's her words. The tweet is right here. You could go up on her page on Twitter, on X, and just Google her name. And the tweet was on September 13th that she made that tweet public, stating that Charlie Kirk owed people a large lump sum of money, that he was in serious debt with some powerful billionaires, with some people that has power in this world. You have money, you have some power. It's literally, God has the most power, but if you're a human being that want to be a dirtbag and you have some money, it's a lot of things you could do with that money. But yes, this is what this woman tweeted out a couple of days ago, literally a couple of days ago, in regards to the Charlie Kirk situation. So I don't know what to make of this situation. It could go either way. It could literally go either way. I honestly don't know. And the reason I said that, because she was good friends, very good friends with that gentleman as well. Like she had a good friendship with him, so she will know exactly what was taking place. You know what I mean? Like she has some insight of who he was dealing with and what was taking place the time leading up to his death. So now, yes, we're going to actually watch her latest video that she released on her YouTube channel. She has a YouTube channel, so you know how it works in YouTube. Basically, you could watch the video, you could take parts of her video. So we're going to go through her video tonight, and we're going to just discuss, what this lady's about. Tell me in the chat, though. Like, I just looked up a little bit of stuff about her today. So
today's episode with a game. The feds like to play games. Let's play a game. This is one that everybody can join in on, okay? It doesn't matter how old or young you are. I want you to grab your cell phone, and
And she started off the video. You could tell this lady is a wild person. She started off the video stating that the federal government like playing games. So let's play a game. She is a dude. I looked into this lady. I'm like, yeah, this lady she's a troublemaker type of chick, dude. And she's married to some dude. She got kids too. She's a mom. This girl. She's a mother. But you could tell she's a wild chick, dude, for real. But anyway, let me get into the frame of the. Now let's listen to Miss Owens talk a little bit.
You to go to your text messages and search for certain terms, okay, that you just use when you speak to your friends. Terms that were just casually tossed into a conversation, the alleged conversation held between the 22-year-old alleged killer of Charlie Kirk, Tyler Robinson, and his 22-year-old boyfriend, Lance Twiggs, okay? The first term I want...
Listen, I gotta get set up with this better. Listen, guys, please bear with me because I am like really brand new to this concept. So is that I'm just trying to figure this out as I go, honestly. I'm just trying to figure it out to make it make sense. You know what I mean? I'm just trying to make it make sense right now. There you go. So we could keep this like this. And I could come back right here. Okay, I'm locked right now, so now I'm back in. Okay, I could come back all the way out. Now I can make my screen smaller. Yeah, there you go. So now we're going to actually listen a little bit of this lady.
Retrieve. When is the last time that you used the word retrieve between you and a friend? Retrieve. I'm going to retrieve something. I played this game with my entire staff, and I was able to find, since dating back for the last 3 years, 2 messages where someone used that term The first person was somebody that was former military, and the second person was a cop. Makes sense.
She's saying that the conversation between the gentleman that on alive, Charlie Kirk, and his boyfriend, they used the word retrieved in the conversation. So she's saying that she have not heard that word being used by your regular average person. Like, she went through her entire staff trying to figure out which of her staff members used the word retrieved. She says she only heard it only from a cop and a military personnel. Just listen. I don't even... This woman, like, looking into her, like, her whole social media content and her presence in the media, like, she just one of step broads that just, like, to me, that's to me, and I could be wrong. I don't know this lady, but what I looked into, what I seen when I looked into this lady, I looked at a couple of her videos and stuff. I'm like, the way she talks, she's another one of those people that will anger people, dude. Like, she has one of those type of presence that will just, the things that she talk about, and like, let's keep listening to this lady, though. She claimed that people don't use the word retrieved. There's a lot of people that use the word retrieved. What are you trying to say? Let's keep listening to this lady.
Okay, we're not done playing this game. Second term that I want you to look for in your phone is vehicle. Vehicle. Well, I mean, what pops up for you? Is that something that you say? I'm just going to go outside to my vehicle. I left something in my vehicle. I'll be right back. I just parked. I parked my vehicle outside. I don't remember where I parked my vehicle. What's popping up for you? Oh, probably literally nothing. Maybe something related to the DMV. That's what came up for me. Things about the DMV. I think for Skylar, something came up for his car wash. Your vehicle is ready. Sounds pretty professional. I don't know what to tell you guys, though, because what they're telling us is that is just the way the 22-year-olds are speaking these days. Apparently, they just shoot the...
What do you mean people don't mention vehicles? People mention vehicles all the time. Probably where you live at. Probably the people you speak to, that they don't talk like that. But I'm in New York State, and people use that word vehicle all the time. You go to, put it like that, okay, you go to a mechanic shop. You go to, I should say, a car wash. You go to like a car detail place. You know, like you go to a restaurant, the valet. Some of the valet people will say to you, your vehicle, like people use that word. This lady just making things up and just trying to make life complicated for people. But she's mentioned two words, retrieved and vehicle. And she claims that people normally don't use those words. Wherever you from, lady, probably people don't use those words in your neighborhood.
The breeze with one another, and they say vehicle and retrieve. And if you don't believe me, then good. You shouldn't believe that. You shouldn't believe me when I say that. So welcome back to Candace.
Well, she's giving a whole bunch of pictures of her. That's an intro to her channel, showing her pregnant belly.
Vehicles, love fast vehicles. I'm a big vehicle.
Showing her pregnant belly. It's an intro or introduction to her channel. Her pregnant belly. What are you trying to say? That she's trying to show people she's a mother. Her husband. She's showing a picture of her husband. And look how she talks, and she's trying to mimic other people. Like, I don't get this girl. Like, this woman. She's a mother of 2 kids, I think she has. Like, the way she's talking, and she's trying to mimic some other race of people. The way she's using her facial expression and stuff like that. Like, I don't know. Something about this woman just rubbed me the wrong way. I don't know. I never watched this lady content before. Somebody told me about the tweet, and then I looked into it. I'm like, yeah, this could be actually a good story. That she's claiming that she knows something that we don't know about the death of somebody actually she was close to. Because she was working with this gentleman from like 2018. Yeah, I seen like, I looked in some stuff and I seen like she was started to work with him for I think it was like 2018, something around that time. She was working with him. So she had insider knowledge about what this man was doing on his day-to-day life. You know what I mean? Like she know more information about Charlie Kirk than the average person because she was part of his inner circle. So when I seen the tweet that she tweeted out on September 13th, I'm like, okay, she said that this man was in debt with a lot of billionaires. So she's hinting to the fact that it's a possibility his debt could be linked to something else other than what we are thinking. Because I'm thinking, honestly, that this man was unalive because of, over the years, the words that he was speaking his mind. He was speaking his truth. He was speaking what he wanted to speak. I don't think nobody in this world deserves to die for speaking their mind. Whatever way you feel, especially in the United States is free speech. So whatever you feel like saying, I don't think you should end up getting a bullet in your neck or getting hit. No type of violence should be performed on anybody for words. But unfortunately, it happens all the time. So I'm under the assumption that this gentleman lost his life because of the words that basically was the words that was coming out of his mouth for over the couple of years that he was talking. But she came out and made that tweet. She made the tweet, so now it's like, I'm thinking like, okay, she has to know something that the general public don't know. You know, but this, just listening to this lady, she just have some loose screws. I don't think this lady has it all there. I don't know if she's just doing this act for her audience because she has a large audience. This woman makes a lot of money. I looked into this lady, dude. She makes a lot of money off of social media. Like, she makes a great living, you know, doing what she's doing. So me just looking at her right now, like the way she is mimicking people, the way she is, her facial expression, this is like the first and last time I'll ever watch this lady. I'll be honest with you.
Person said nobody ever. The text messages that were released yesterday in the indictment of Tyler Robinson make perfect sense if you don't think about them at all. Like literally, if you suspend all reason, all rationality, then they can make perfect sense. That's the only way. You just have to stop thinking. You got to get to that point where you're like, are we still talking about Jeffrey Epstein? No, to be fair. Now we are more broadly considering how stupid the feds believe that we are. And the frankly obnoxious messages that someone strung together must clearly be for either our or their own entertainment. So I want to hyper-focus on those. I want to actually hyper-focus on what exactly...
And she's referring to the text messages that the head of the FBI came out and released to the public. That the text messages that she's referring to is between the man that unalived Mr. Charlie Kirk and his boyfriend. So she's claiming, and this woman, once again, I think this woman have a lot of loose screws, but she's claiming that the federal government is setting up this entire dialogue about the text messages that this man committed this crime. And they have it on text. They have him confessing before he did it. But she's claiming that this is all a lie. She's saying that the federal government is just making up that entire story because the federal government don't want the public to know what is the honest to God truth that what happened to Charlie Kirk. So she said the whole story that the head of the FBI released, the text messages and everything to her, that's made up, that's fabricated. She, in that lady's head, but once again, she could be right, she could be wrong. I don't know. She had very close ties to Charlie Kirk. She had very close ties to this gentleman. You know, so her whole thing is that the federal government is lying about the text messages. and they're just trying to cover up what really happened to Charlie Kirk. Because her words, once again, that Mr. Charlie Kirk owed some very wealthy people. Her words was he was in debt with some billionaires. He was in serious debt with some billionaires, and for the couple of days leading up to his death, he was under a lot of pressure from the people that he owed. That's her words. You could go and look at the tweet on September 13th. She tweeted this out. September 13th, 2025. That the death of Charlie Kirk is not what people honestly think. So let's keep listening to this woman. I think this woman, she has some loose screws, but hey, let's keep listening to her and let's figure it out.
Exactly is wrong with these text messages between Lance and Tyler. Now, first and foremost, the obvious thing, there's no timestamps. Right away, major red flag. Very easy to say he sent the first message at this time. It's a part of your investigation, right? Everybody is on edge globally wanting to know what happened. They just remove that. But don't worry, you guys, because like I told you, one of the things that me and Charlie always believed in was that we could work harder. And I gotta tell you, these devils are working pretty hard, but we can work harder than them, okay? And I decided to go back and on the basis of what Tyler Robinson allegedly writes to his lover, I decided I could work them into the timeline. I could work out an approximate timeline at least for us to look at visually for when they had to have been sent on the basis of what he's saying, right? Because he says certain things that were not revealed to the public at a certain time, so we're going to do that. I also want to point out the fact that the language, which many people said online, somebody actually left a very funny comment, it's like borderline poetic. He's got commas in there. It's like perfect English. And that's actually a striking contrast compared to what's inscribed on the casings, right? He goes through all of these memes that he's written, and I'm not hip to the lingo. Okay, you got to be real deep internet and hip, but for whatever reason, when he's writing these messages, he's very proper, extremely proper, right? What really wants to make sure he gets the punctuation correct. Anyways, let's just...
I just don't get this lady, because she thinks because she don't use punctuations and she don't use the way she writes, everybody should write like her. She thinks that because she doesn't know certain lingo or certain ways people talk, like she claims that nobody around her uses the word retrieve. Nobody used the word vehicle. I don't know where you're from, lady, but in New York State, I constantly hear people saying vehicles, retrieve. Those are words that's average words, regular words. You know, but she's under the assumption that the whole story that the federal government said to the public in regards to Charlie Kirk's being unalive, she's basically saying it's all fake. She said that she, under her assumption, I'm going to use allegedly because this lady, she has a lot of money. I don't want her to come after me. I'm broke. But allegedly, what I'm reading into, the way she's speaking about this whole situation, allegedly, I'm going to assume that she's thinking that everything that the federal government said in regards to Charlie Kirk's unaliving is false. She wants her audience and she wants the public to believe that the federal government allegedly is covering up what really happened to Charlie Kirk. She's allegedly saying the messages that the federal government released to the public are all lies. And once again, I think this lady has some loose screws, but she was part of Charlie Kirk's circle. So she honestly knew a lot of things that Charlie Kirk was involved in. And she claimed that he owed a bunch of wealthy people. You know, he was in debt with a bunch of wealthy people, and there was pressure in him to get even on the debt, leading up to the days prior to him being unalived. So leading up to him being unalived, he was in a lot of pressure to break even with the people, with the billionaires. She said billionaires, people with a lot of money and people with a lot of power, that he owed, allegedly, he owed these people. He was in debt with these people, and they was on his ass to get even for that debt, leading up to him being on alive. So let's keep listening to this lady. I think this lady has some loose screws, though. I really do, bro.
Let's dive right back into the timeline. Let's dive right back into this conversation. And we're at first going to focus on the third message. And don't forget, just to lead up into this, they are telling us that at no time that we're allowed to know, on September 10th, after Charlie Kirk was shot, the roommate, that's Lance, received a text message from Robinson which said, "Drop what you are doing, look under my keyboard." And so Lance, I don't know what he does all day, but he can do that. He knows he's home. And Lance then runs, I'm saying he ran Prentice, who knows, and looks, and he sees this note. And to be clear, we're never going to be able to see that note because the feds have since told us that the note was destroyed. But even though he destroyed the note, he took a picture of it. Yeah, that makes sense, because if you're going to destroy something, the best thing to do is to take a picture of it. And the feds saw the picture, but we're not going to be able to see either. Anyways, don't think about it if you want it to make sense. Then we find out that Lance, I guess, decided to take a picture and then text Tyler back. And here is where he asks him, Lance says, "Tyler, what? You're joking, right?" This, the note said, "I had the opportunity to take out Charlie Kirk, and I'm going to take it." So Lance is like, "What? You're joking." And Robinson says to him, Tyler says, "I'm still okay, my love, but I am stuck in Orem," that's the town, okay, that UVU is at, "for a little while longer yet." So poetic. A little while longer yet. I'm going to look that up on my phone later. "It shouldn't be long until I can come home, but I got to grab my rifle still. To be honest, I had hoped to keep this." This
woman, she's a lot. Oh man, her husband had to have he has to have a lot of patience to deal with a woman like her, dude. She is an amazing person. She is literally painting a picture that is describing the federal government that they're lying. All of the words that's coming out this woman's mouth is to basically paint a picture saying that the federal government, the head of the FBI, and everybody else that's involved in this case are lying to the public about what really happened to Charlie Kirk. It's insane. Listen, it's insane, dude. Like, she said everything from she's reading off the messages. This is the message that she's reading. That's what the head of the FBI came out and showed to the public. That's the evidence that they have, proving that this gentleman had everything planned out to commit the crime. That conversation is between him and his boyfriend. So that's the federal government evidence. And she's just basically telling her audience and telling whomever might listen, like, the feds are lying. The federal government is painting a picture just to frame this guy. Allegedly, she's claiming that the whole thing is a lie. They're framing this guy. Like, something else happened that they don't want the public to know about. I'm just curious to find out what this woman know that the public don't know. Like, right now, she's just making videos, just trying to paint a picture that the federal government is lying about the case. But I'm curious to know, what do she know? If she think the federal government is lying, okay, so what evidence do you have to back up your story that he was in debt with people, and you think the people that he was in debt with, that's the reason he was unalive? That's allegedly what she's assuming, or that's what she's allegedly claiming. I have to use allegedly. That's what she's allegedly claiming, because if she's saying that the federal government report on the incident is a lie, and she's saying, and that's, once again, that's her tweet that she tweeted on September 13th, that Mr. Charlie Kirk was in serious debt with some powerful billionaires, leading up to the day he was unalived. So allegedly, I'm going to say that she's painting a picture stating that this man was unalived because of the people he owed. And once again, that's allegedly. He was unalived because of the people he owed. She's saying the story that the federal government told to the public, which this gentleman was unalived because of somebody that hated him because of the words that he was speaking. She said that's all a lie. Let's listen to this lady.
Secret till I died of old age. I'm sorry to involve you. Now, I want to jump to this next message because it gives us a timeline. Keith says to him, I assume right away, Lance says, you weren't the one who did it, right? And Robinson says, I am. I'm sorry. And the roommate says, I thought they caught the person. Okay? And Robinson responds, no, they grabbed some crazy old dude, then interrogated someone in similar clothing. I had planned to grab my rifle from my drop point shortly after, but most of that side of town got locked down. It's quiet, almost enough to get out, but there's one vehicle lingering. Okay, so that lets us actually be able to drop that into the timeline pretty simply. Why? Because we know, we can pull up this timeline, that they at first thought it was George Zinn, so that's who he's referencing, some crazy old dude. And I'm a timeline scholar, if you want to pull that up so we can go through it. What time? Charlie gets shot at 12:23 p.m. Scroll down a bit. George Zinn, we learn about 30 minutes after that, George Zinn, the decoy boy, that's when it's announced that he's a suspect in custody by the Utah police. But it's not until, by the way, 5:30 p.m., because he mentioned that second suspect, and he curiously says in that correspondence that he's wearing similar clothing, which I find to be strange. We don't know what that second suspect is wearing until 5:30 p.m., when Governor Cox, 12 minutes into a press conference, the press conference began at 5:30 p.m., mentions that the second suspect, who is a person of interest, is wearing all dark clothing. So the earliest that message could have been sent out is after 5:30 p.m. I think it's unlikely because I think, again, this is all made up, these messages, because he says wearing similar clothing. Okay, he tells us dark clothing. What's similar about that? This guy allegedly, when he did this, was wearing black jeans. Dark jeans and a black shirt. So that's like
If you follow this woman, she will convince you that if you're dark skinned, this is the type of person that if you're a dark skinned person, she has the ability to convince you that no, you're not dark skinned, you're Caucasian. Because the reason I'm saying this is that she's making an incredible point, because she's going back looking through the timeline from the governor coming for the press conference, she's going down from like second to second, minute to minute, hour to hour. So she's actually really trying to convince every and all of the people that listen to her and follow her that the federal government is lying. And in this situation, who can you believe? Listen, whatever the federal government said, that's what I believe. Whatever the report that the federal government came out with, that's what I'm going to believe. Until she could come up, she's just making up. Well, I'm not going to say making up. She's just allegedly saying stuff that the federal government is lying. But yet, what proof do you have that Mr. Charlie Kirk was unalived under different circumstances? She's not revealing what circumstances lead. She said just a little bit about he owed wealthy billionaires, powerful people, yes, but who are those people? What amount was he owed money to these people? Was this people, was it favors? Like, what was owed to those people? She didn't say none of that. She just said that he was in debt. Debt could be several things. Debt does not have to be just about money. There could be somebody did him a favor and they have to repay that favor. Like, it could be several different things. So I'm curious to know what debt was this guy owed to this so-called billionaire, powerful people. She said powerful billionaires. What debt was he owed to those powerful billionaires? Who are those billionaires? What was Mr. Charlie Kirk involved in? Tell us what he was really involved in leading up to the time, to leading up to him finally getting on, leading up to him being on alive. Tell the public, the people that follow you and whomever else might listen, tell us what you know. You're making the assumption that the federal government is lying, the report is a fraud, the text messages between the killer and his boyfriend is all a lie, that they're just making up the story. Okay, so if you know the story's been made up and there's an innocent person that's in jail, or let us know why you think that this story is fake. Tell us the real story. Tell us what really was happening to Mr. Charlie Kirk leading up to his death. 2 days prior, she knows this guy. She hanged out with this guy. She do business with Charlie Kirk. So she has the inside knowledge to know what's going on in Mr. Charlie Kirk's life. But she just coming out with the hints. The federal government is lying. They're doing this, they're doing that. Everything they're saying in regards to Mr. Charlie Kirk case is a lie. They're spinning the truth. Okay, so if they're spinning the truth, if they're lying about what really happened, you know what really happened, so tell the public. Instead of just trying to go down about this and that, she's just bringing up ways. She's just bringing up ways for people to discredit the federal government. That's all she's doing. But she's not showing concrete evidence on why the public should discredit the federal government report on Mr. Charlie Kirk's death. Let us know exactly what you know. Whatever you know, I want to know.
Everyone on campus, okay? Nobody in the press conference says, oh, we picked him up because he was wearing something similar to the shooter. So that language right there is actually a mistake from the feds. But again, it allows us to be able to plot it into the timeline, so that's good. Okay, timeline is back up here. And we then know Kash Patel tweets that the subject in custody has been released. Our investigation continues. That was a mistake. The guy in the darker clothing, we don't know who that is.
Tell me when is
and
that girl's
then
birthday?
it's after, again, like I said, that these correspondences then had to take place. So we're talking about late in the evening, okay, 6 hours on. I'm wondering.
I'm curious to know, when is Candace Owens' birthday? Somebody in the chat, tell me when is Candace Owens' birthday. I'm very curious.
What it is that Tyler Robinson is doing throughout this entire time. Skylar, you can keep this up because I want to keep scrolling, okay? What he's doing throughout this entire time, because that's a very long time for him to be just around campus. But then luckily, he's going to let us know what he's doing, right? He's going to jump right in here and he's telling us that he's close to the scene. We know in this conversation that he then says to Lance that he's looking to get that rifle, right? He says, I'm wishing I had circled back and grabbed it as soon as I got to my vehicle. I'm worried what my old man would do if I didn't bring it back. Oh, I'm sorry, let's actually go earlier. He then tells us his alibi, which is amazing, right? He's saying, I'm lingering around there, I'm trying to get the vehicle, and then, of course, as you always do when you're trying to clean up things, you then spell out your alibi, right? Lance asks him, why'd you do this? And Robinson says, I had enough of his hatred. Some hate cannot be negotiated out. If I am able to grab my rifle unseen, like I'm trying to clean up the scene, but also I'm telling you exactly what my motive is here, I will have left no evidence. I'm going to attempt to retrieve it again. Hopefully they have moved on. I haven't seen anything about them finding it. Okay, so we are now late in the evening. He's still hanging around. The roommate then comes and says, how long have you been planning?
Okay, she just continue. She's going to just continue for minutes. That her whole thing is trying to discredit the federal government report. Okay, ma'am, we get that. From the beginning of this video, you're doing the best you can to discredit the federal government's report on Charlie Kirk. This woman seems like she's a master manipulator. She has the ability to manipulate people's minds. I'm telling you, this is, I never really watched this woman, but I had to like research what she really do when I found out about the tweet. Before I decided to make this video, I did a little bit of researching and see what this lady actually, like what's her content about. And she come across to me as a master manipulator. That she has the abilities to brainwash people. This woman is one of those type of people that will convince you that if you're a dark-skinned person, she has the ability to manipulate your mind to tell you, no, you're not dark-skinned. You're a Caucasian. I'm telling you. Listen, if you guys are fans of this lady, be very cautious. Be very careful. Because she comes across, for me, as a master manipulator. Like, she comes across as somebody that, over the years, she knows how to manipulate people to get things that she wants. And that's just could be me. You could tell me in the chat. I appreciate you guys commenting too. Thanks for commenting. Thanks for watching. But she comes across to me as a master manipulator. Like, and people like that, you have to be very, very cautious with. You have to be careful, because this is the type of woman and this is the type of person that will say whatever it takes to get things her way. Regardless, she noticed the things that she's spreading, the right now the rumors that she's spreading to the world to discredit the federal government's finding of what really happened to Charlie Kirk. She's telling everybody that will listen to her to basically discredit the federal government findings, that the text messages are fake, the timelines are fake, the arrest is fake. Like, she's trying to convince the world that something else happened to Charlie Kirk. All I'm trying to say, lady, from the beginning of this video to now, we've been watching this for like 40 minutes already. Okay, we understand you're trying to discredit the federal government's report. Tell us what you know. That's it. Tell us what you know. You claim that he was in debt with a bunch of wealthy people leading up to him being unalived. Allegedly, you're saying that somebody that he was in debt with, that allegedly those people have something to do with his death. Allegedly. She's claiming that what the federal government are saying is lies. So allegedly, she's saying somebody who he was in debt with have to be behind him being unalived. Mr. Charlie Kirk was into it with a lot of wealthy people. He was very good friends with the president. The president is very wealthy. Our commander-in-chief, Mr. Donald J. Trump, is a very wealthy man, and he had a very good friendship with Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk has a lot of videos on the internet saying that he done met a lot of leaders. He done met a lot of people all around the world, you know, very powerful people that he had in his friendship circle. So what she's saying, I'm not making this video discrediting her words 100%, because she had inside information, because she had a friendship, a very close friendship with Charlie Kirk. They started doing business from 2018, from 2018 or 2019, I think it's 2018. Candace, this lady on Charlie Kirk, they started a business. So she had inside knowledge of his business dealings. You know, so I'm not going to discredit everything she's saying, but show us some proof of something else happened. You're just making an entire video about discrediting the government's report. You're just making an entire video saying that the government are lying about what really happened. You're making a whole video an hour long about telling everybody that the government is lying. The government report is a fraud, it's false, it's fake. Okay, so tell us what you know. Tell us what you know what's going on. To me, it's just she's a manipulator. People like that, like you claim to know what happened. Okay, you claim to know what's behind this man's, you claim to know what's behind this man being unalived, allegedly. I'm going to use allegedly. And the reason I said that is because if you make that tweet claiming that he was in debt with some powerful people leading up to him being unalived, allegedly, this is what you're saying. Like something else happened. And now you're making a video discrediting the government's report on what happened. So you know something else that we don't know. To me, that's some manipulator's work. If you guys don't understand that, that's how people that manipulate other people's minds operates. Because she's trying to discredit a source of news. She's trying to basically discredit someone else's version of a story to make people think that she honestly have the real story. And in reality, nobody knows what this lady is trying to reveal. But after 40 minutes of listening to her talking, she's not saying nothing. She's just discrediting the government's report, and she's not saying nothing to back up her idea of what really happened. Tell us what really happened. She's going to continue going down that path because guess what? She's a manipulator. She's going down that path for an hour, 2 hours to manipulate people's mind. She's going to come up with a million different things to make sure she manipulates your mind. And finally, she's going to come up with something that she believes that what happened to Charlie Kirk. And she's going to want everybody to take what she said and what she believes. That's how manipulators work. That's how people who manipulate people's minds operate. I'm telling you, listen, you don't have to believe me. You probably just first time you're seeing me on live. But if one thing I'm sure about is the behavior of human beings. I study the behavior of people for years. And I'm telling you right now, this woman is a master manipulator. And the people that follow this woman better be very careful, because she has the potential to tell you to jump in the water that you know that the water is freezing. She has the potential to tell you, no, the water is not cold. The water is nice and warm. She could manipulate people's minds. Let's keep listening to this lady.
This, he says, a bit over a week, I believe. I can get close to it, still trying to get close to that rifle. So I'm wondering if maybe the feds might drop us some footage, right? We should be able to see some footage. He's got to be idling in his car. You've been speaking about how he has this car. I'm assuming he's not just sitting in the woods or sitting on a sidewalk. This is a quote unquote manhunt. So where is he casually sitting, lingering, loitering? I don't know, but that would be some pretty good footage that they could release if they don't want us all to become a conspiracy theorist, okay? He then says, yeah, I've been planning this for a bit over a week. I can get really close to it, but there's a squad car that's parked right by it. That's the drop-off spot. I think they already swept the spot, but I don't want to chance it. And then he tells Lance that I'm wishing I had circled back and grabbed it as soon as I got to my vehicle. Yeah, that's a vehicle. I'm worried what my old man would do if I didn't bring back Grandpa's rifle. I'm going to tell exactly where I got this rifle from, okay? I don't know. I don't even know if that they had a serial number. Weird, because he's been planning this for a week. He might have checked. Now all of a sudden he's getting into details and is wondering if it had a serial number. That seems a little strange to me. But it wouldn't trace to me. Of course, because you just told us in writing that it's your grandpa's. Definitely trying to cover your tracks. I worry about Prince. I had to leave it in a bush where I changed outfits. Okay, we're going to get to that. Focus on the changing outfits. That's a really important piece of this, and that is why I am now a confirmed conspiracy theorist on this, okay? I left it in the bush where I changed outfits, okay? I didn't have the ability or the time to bring it with. I might have to abandon it and hope that they don't find Prince. How the F will I explain losing it to my old man? Only thing I left was the rifle wrapped in a towel. That's the only thing. Otherwise, it was a perfect job. It was top of the line, professional job. The only thing I left behind was the weapon with my prints on it. Oh my gosh, right? Like that's kind of amazing. Okay. Then he, of course, explains, remember how I was engraving the bullets? The effing messages are mostly a big meme. I know I speak proper here, but it's just a meme that I was writing. I wrote, notice this bulge. On Fox News, I might have a stroke if they say that, right? If I see notice his bulge.
Listen, man, I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys for watching this live, man. Thanks for, getting into the chat. I appreciate it. But I think this woman is a master manipulator, bro. I'm telling you, just the way she's going about trying to dismiss, she just basically trying to paint a terrible picture about the federal government report. She's claiming that every single thing in that report is a lie. And she just continue reading it and reading it and reading. And this is stuff that's already made public by the federal government. So she's just going back into it and telling people that it's all a lie. It's all fraud. It's all fraudulent evidence. It's all BS. They're just making this stuff up. This text is the text is between the shooter and his boyfriend is not reliable texts. This is all fabricated. She's just basically painting a picture of the federal government report is a bunch of baloney. And she has no proof to back those words up. She's not coming to the table saying what she knows. She's not revealing. You say that he was in debt with a bunch of wealthy people. Okay, who is those wealthy people? Why would you be under the assumption that they had something to do with it? Whomever the wealthy people that you know. She made the tweet. She made the tweet on September 13th claiming that leading up to this man being unalived, that he was in debt with some powerful people. So you know the powerful people. Name them. Let's find out what really going on. What did he owe those people? What debt are you talking about? Was it financial debt? Was it, I did you a favor a month ago, I need you to do it? Like, what was the debt? It's a lot of different ways. You could owe somebody. You could be in a debt with somebody. Say something. She's just reading the report and just basically just painting a picture of the federal government lying. Just painting a picture the federal government report is false. But she's not saying nothing other than just trying to paint a bad picture of the federal government report. To me, that's some manipulator's work. She wants people to think what she's saying is 100% accurate. She wants people who follow her to think that her statements and her tweet is accurate. She wants the people that follow her to think that this man was unalived because of the debt that he was in. I'm pretty sure sooner or later she's going to come out with another video with some nonsense. To the people that follow this lady, be careful. I think she's a master manipulator, and you probably think differently, but that's how people who manipulate others' mind operate. They will stay on hours of a topic. They will stay on a topic for hours and telling you for hours why this is not the right thing. They would play with your mind for an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours of telling you why this is not the right thing to do, this is not the right way to go, this is not the right thing to listen to. And then after manipulating your mind, they will come with some nonsense that they want to convince you this is the right way. Be careful with people like this lady. Manipulators are very, very terrible people. Very terrible people, because 99% of manipulators, people that manipulate other people's minds, they're doing it for their own selfish reasons. They're doing it just for themselves. They're doing it just for them. They're not doing it for nobody else. Manipulators is not in the business of manipulating to help other people. No. 99% of people that manipulate others, they are in it for themselves. They don't care about nobody else. And you could think that I'm crazy. You could think that I'm bugged out. But if you know somebody that's a manipulator, from this day forward, pay attention to what they're doing. 99% of people that manipulate others' minds, they will talk to you about something for an hour, 2 hours. Just keep talking to you about it and telling you that everything about it is wrong. They'll just keep pressing the issue about being wrong, being wrong, being wrong. They will try to put that wrong stuff in your mind for hours. Wrong, 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 wrong. And then they will finally tell you something that they want you to believe. And it's all for them. Manipulators, believe it or not, they could work with a group of people. A master manipulator could work with a group. A master manipulator could have a circle of people. But at the end of the day, I promise you, it's only about them. It's only about them. This lady right here that we just watched, to me, I think she's a master manipulator. And 100% I think that she's doing all of this stuff for her own selfish benefits. Whatever it is for her to gain of this man losing his life, she's in it for her own benefit. She's not in this to tell the truth about what really happened. No, that lady could care less. She's in it to create chaos, to create doubts of our federal government, to create divisions amongst people. Because that's another thing that I've seen. I looked at a couple of other videos that she has on her YouTube page, and she do a lot of videos like bashing colored people. I realized that about her YouTube channel. She has a lot of videos like bashing colored people, and you could look at it like that. Listen, I'm a colored person, and in media, in the internet, a lot of things that we see, colored people are involved in doing bad things. But you have to realize, bro, we all got kids. And I'm telling you right now, that whole color of his skin, that shit doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. Because there's a lot of people that's Caucasians that are out there doing bad stuff as well. There's a lot of people that are Asians that are out there doing terrible things. But the media, and I'm not sitting here saying, oh, colored people they don't do bad things. Listen, everybody do bad things. No matter what your complexion might be, you could be Caucasian, Hispanic, Black, Asian, whatever it is, though. Everybody on this planet, I don't care what your race, there are good and bad people in this world. There are good and bad people. That's just how it is. Is colored people doing more bad things than Caucasian, or colored people doing more bad things than Asian? If we going by what the media says, if we going by what the internet says, 100%. But I notice a lot of her videos, the way she speak about colored people is, to me, is a little harsh. It's a little, it's a little crazy. But once again, she's a master manipulator. That woman, she will say and do whatever it takes to get what she ultimately wants. I'm telling you, dude, you could look, this lady, I would never look into her thing ever again. I just had to look into her content to basically get a picture of who she really is. And she says a lot of bad things. The way she speak about colored people, to me, is not in a respectful manner. Because I don't care what's your color. That whole racist stuff, that whole racial thing, that's not a part of my life. I love people because we all got kids. I don't care what's your color of your skin. That doesn't matter to me. But there is every and all type of race in this world that commit crimes, that do bad and dirtbag stuff. 100%. But the media, the internet, if we are going by the media and the internet, we will say 100% colored people are committing the most violent crimes. If once again, that's if we are going by the media and the internet, we will say as a society, we will say like, you know what? Yeah, colored people are just they're doing too much. But in reality, bro, every color of people commit crimes. Every color, because there is good and bad in this world. It doesn't matter if your color or your skin. There is a lot of Caucasian people out here that's doing bad things. There's a lot of Asians that's doing bad things. It's not black and Hispanics only, no. But if you look at this lady's page, she will convince you black and Hispanic people are the worst people in the world. That's something I noticed about. I didn't want to get off the Charlie Kirk situation, but I'm just trying to tell you what type of person I honestly view that lady to be. I think she's a master manipulator. I think she's willing to say and do whatever it takes to get whatever she wants in life. That's just me. That's what the way I view this woman. I think that she's a type of person that's willing to do and say whatever it is. It doesn't matter who feelings she has to hurt. It doesn't matter who she burned. It doesn't matter. She's just one of those people that's now she's painting a picture of the federal government being, making false report. So now she's trying to convince people, okay, you know what? Now I could create the story of the federal government is liars. Don't trust the federal government. Trust me. Trust my source of news. Whatever I say to you, you have to believe what I say. The federal government and everybody else is liars. She made this whole video over an hour long, but not even one time throughout this video reveal what really happened to the guy. Who is the billionaires that you think had something to do with his death allegedly? Who is the billionaires he was in debt with? Tell us. No, because she's a manipulator. She will manipulate people's minds to convince people that she's right. Everything about what she's saying is correct. And that's it. Because she wants to get something out of it. Whatever it is that she's down to gain from this man losing his life, she's on that path right now. Because creating controversy, creating things that could, stir up the pot by telling people the federal government is liars, believe my story. I'm going to tell you in a month from now, I'm going to tell you what I think. Not she's going to come up with a story what she thinks without any facts. But guess what? She's going to want to convince everybody that the story she's going to tell about Charlie Kirk's murder is the accurate story. Because the federal government story is a lie. It's a fraud. It's misleading. But tell us, okay, if the federal government story is misleading, if it's a lie, tell us the accurate story then. Tell us what you really know about this man's death. My honest opinion about this woman, once again, guys. And once again, thank you guys very much, man. For the people that's watching the live, man, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Like, subscribe to the channel, man. I like doing this. This is something I'm going to continue to do because I enjoy it. And talking about people like this manipulative woman who've been on the internet for years, making millions of dollars, manipulating people. People like that, I want to keep talking about because to me, I think this lady, she's full of it. I honestly think she's full of it, though. I think she's a selfish person. I think she's a master manipulator. I think everything that she do is just for her. I think she use other people to get where she want to go, and she don't care. I think that woman, she don't care. The way I view that lady by watching her content, I'm like, she's not somebody who care about other people's feelings. She's not somebody who take other people's feelings into consideration. She's the type of person who will say and do whatever it takes to get what she wants in life. It doesn't matter. I don't think that lady has any type of heart towards anybody. It's all about herself. Honestly do. I don't think she has no type of heart, no type of feelings towards anybody else. It's all about her. And she's willing to do whatever it takes to get what she wants in this world. Even to go against the federal government, call them liars, start trouble, bruh. But God bless Miss Candace, Owen. God bless everybody out there, man. Listen, I love people. I'm just calling it as it is. You know, whoever followed this lady, be very careful. From this day forward, take my words into consideration about this lady. Look at this. Look at the actions of this lady, and tell me if she don't come across as a master manipulator. From this day forward, the people that follow this lady, take a close look at her content, at the words that comes out of her mouth, and tell me she does not come across as a manipulative person. You could think I'm wrong. I studied the behavior of people for years. Trust me. You know what? Let me say something, right? You know what makes us different? Not the color of our skin, not the religion that we was born into, because a lot of us was born into our religions. A lot of us was born with the skin color that we have. Those are things we can't control. You know, I was born dark skin. I was born with, a beautiful tan color. I love it. I thank God every day for my life, for giving me life. I thank God with the help of God, my mother, my parents, I'm happy. I'm good. That doesn't make us different. Regardless, I'm dark skin. And listen to this, right? And you guys could tell me if I'm wrong in the chat or leave a comment. The color of our skin does not make us different. A fact. The religions we support does not make us different. A fact. You know what really and honestly and truly makes human beings different from each other? Tell me in the chat before I say it. I'm not like this lady who is going to manipulate people's mind and keep going on and on and on and on and tell you some other nonsense. No, I'm going to tell you exactly what I'm talking about right now. Right now, within the next minute, I'm going to tell you exactly what make us as human beings different. All right. Nobody's saying in the chat what they think. Skin color doesn't make us different. The color of our skin don't make us different. Our religions doesn't make us different. That stuff don't make us different. Tell me honestly in the chat what you think that make human beings different. 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. The only thing that make us different as human beings, as God kids, is the time period that we was born. Think about this. Listen, I'm Sagittarius, right? And Sagittarius starts from November 22nd to December 21st. If you know a Caucasian Sagittarius, I'm dark skinned. So if you know a Caucasian Sagittarius and you put us in the same room, I'm 100% sure that you will look at us like these guys are very similar. Based on our attitude, based on our thought process, you will start thinking like these guys are very similar. Like these guys, like they do a lot of things that's similar. That's what makes us different from each other. I'm Sagittarius. If you was born after December 21st, makes you a Capricorn. From December 21st to January something, you're considered to be a Capricorn. Your attitude and your way of life is going to be different from me as a Sagittarius. That is what makes human beings different. The color of your skin does not make you different. The religion that you support, the religion that we was all born in, we was born baptized in a church. That's our religion. We have no choice. A lot of people who have religions, they have no choice. They don't have no say so. You was born, your parents baptized you in this church. This is your religion. You was born this color. This is the color of your skin forever. That's it. But the only thing that makes us different as human beings is the time we was born. That's it. We have different fingerprints 100% because we are all unique. All God kids are unique people. We all have different fingerprints. Yes, 100%. But once again, if you get a Sagittarius that's Asian, you get somebody that's Asian that was born between November 22nd to December 21st, which is Sagittarius. And when you put us in the same room, you put an Asian person, a Caucasian person, and myself, a dark-skinned person. And we could even include one of the Latino families. Put a Latino, Sagittarius, four different skin color of people that was born between November 22nd to December 21st. And you just pay attention to me, the Caucasian Sagittarius, the Asian Sagittarius, and the Hispanic Sagittarius. You put us in one room and you just take notes and just let us be ourselves. You're going to realize Sagittarius people love to swear, curse. Sagittarius people, when they love you, they really love you. They are willing to do any and everything for you for your benefit. You will realize Sagittarius people are always willing to help others. Those are things that you will realize, and you will think like, no, this guy is dark skinned. He's like that, but this guy's Caucasian and he's just like that as well. I'm just trying to make you guys understand. I study this stuff. For years of my life, I study the behavior of human beings and why we are different. It also factor in where you was brought up. That plays a factor as well. That plays a role. But in your core value and your core respect and your core being as a human being, it's the same. I swear to God, is the same. If you was born a Sagittarius, no matter what is the color of your skin, it don't matter. If you was born a Gemini, if you was born, I'm telling you, I'm 100% accurate when I'm telling you these things. This is the only things that make us different as human beings. Nothing else. Nothing else. You know, so when I'm sitting here telling you guys like this woman is a manipulator, I'm 100% accurate with these words. She's a master manipulator. And people who knows this woman could, from this day forward, look at her behavior and tell me if I'm wrong. People who knows this woman cannot tell me that a lot of things that she do, when they're in a circle together, they're working together. But a lot of things that she is involved with people, it always end up benefiting her the most. Think about it. Manipulative people are like that. They will work with 100 people. But at the end of everything, they will be benefiting the most. And it won't bother them. The other 99 people that they're working with is hurting, but they're the only person within that 100 circle that's benefiting off of what everybody's doing. That's what that woman is. Ladies and gentlemen, we all got kids. Let's love each other. We're not perfect. You know, we're not perfect. And I want to say something else. I was talking about the way she was talking about black and brown people, that I don't really like that. But there is a lot of issues in the black and brown communities. And lately, it's been a lot of violence between the black and brown communities. A lot of black and brown communities are hurting each other, killing each other for the stupidest stuff. And instead of people like this lady making videos trying to figure out ways how the black and brown communities could come together, instead of further bringing themselves apart, instead of further tearing down the neighborhoods, instead of bringing down the communities, instead of her making videos about like how can this work for the better of everybody, she makes videos just basically shitting on the black and brown communities. And that's not good. You don't listen, nobody in this world, we're not perfect, dude. You will never find a perfect human being on this planet. I don't care what color your skin is, you will never find a perfect person, bro. We are not perfect. We was not born to be perfect. A lot of us do things that we have to learn. A lot of people do things that, they just going from what they see. There should be more people on this social media space that is trying to solve problems. Not be a part of the problem. Like when you're making negative content and you're just blaming black and brown people for all the crimes and blaming black and brown people for this and listen, it doesn't solve nothing, bro. It doesn't solve nothing. Yes, the black and brown communities tend to be a little more violent, 100%. Tend to be a little more violent. Why is that though? Let's try to figure out why is that, and let's try to figure out how can we make a difference in those communities. Our commander-in-chief, Mr. Donald J. Trump, did something in Washington, D.C. that has never been done in centuries within the United States. Has not been done in decades in the United States. Our president put military personnel in the streets of Washington, D.C. And guess what happened? Even right now I'm recording this video, the violence in Washington, D.C. in the black and brown communities went down. It went down. With the actions of the president, the violence in the black and brown communities immediately went down. So we could take and we could build upon what the president just did. We as human beings, we could look at this and be like, wow, this really worked. The president sent military personnel in those neighborhoods, in those communities, and it worked. So now we could know, this works. Let's bring it in other places. And that's how things get better. But you making content and you just like, oh yes, these people are just terrible people. They don't need to be around. No, dude, listen, we all got kids, bro. We all got kids at the end of the day, but let's figure it out together. More people need to make content on this social media space about how can we fix problems. Not continue to be a part of it, not, continue to say stuff to bring people down, not continue to say things to anger people. No, bro. It's too much of that in this world. It's too much of the chaos in this world, dude. We have to figure out ways to come together to make this world a better place. It's too many chaos. If every time you go on social media, if every time you go on the internet, you're saying things that hurt people's feelings, you're saying things that bring people down, you're saying things that make people feel different about themselves. No, it's just going to continue. The cycle of violence is going to continue on and on and on. We have to realize that the words that we speak is very powerful. So if more people could come on social media, if more people could get on the internet and speak things that could actually make this world a better place, with the help of the president bringing peace into the United States, it could work. It could make a difference, because we see what happened in Washington, D.C. It made a difference. People in those communities with the military personnel was stationed, was walking around, the communities was happy. The elderly people were so happy that the president sent military personnel in those neighborhoods. The violence went all the way down. So why can't we continue to build upon what the president just did? We need to work together to solve our problems by creating content and by saying things that hurt people's feelings, that make people feel bad about themselves, that, that create chaos, that, bro, those type of things just keep us separated, bro. This woman, by what she's doing, by telling people to discredit the federal government, and tell us why. Tell me why you want me to discredit the federal government report on Charlie Kirk. Tell me. You're not telling me nothing. You're just telling me they're liars, they're liars, they're liars. Tell me why they're liars. Tell me what you know. That's the type of things that create more and more chaos. Because she's trying to paint a picture. These people is lying. Something else happened. That's the type of things. That's the type of dialogues that continue the cycle of problems. It don't solve nothing. But she's making millions of dollars doing it. And God bless her. She's making, over the years, she's made millions of dollars. God bless her, man. And I wish and hope the best for her today and forever. But I'm just saying, you guys be very cautious who you listen to. Because words are very powerful. Words are very, very powerful. The words that we speak is 100 times more powerful than any kick you could throw at me. The words that we speak, the words that comes out of our mouth, is 100 times more powerful than any punch you could land on any part of my body. You might be able to punch me and knock me out cold, but I would get up. I would get up. I would be knocked up, but I would get up. But you can say something to me out of your mouth that will hurt my feelings for decades. I hope you guys understand what I'm trying to say. Words are very powerful. You could punch me in my jaw and you could knock me out cold. I'll be out for a couple of minutes, probably for a couple of seconds. I'll wake up. With the help of God, I'll wake right up. But something that you could say to me out your mouth, that you can hurt my feelings from something, from words that you could say out your mouth, and those words will hurt me for a decade, for 10 years. Those words will hurt me. Mind you, you knock me out cold for 2 minutes. I wake up, I'm fine. But you could say something out your mouth for one whole decade. 10 years of my life, I will be angry at you for what you said to me. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? Words are powerful. So we have to learn to use our words wisely. Especially to people like this woman that has a huge platform. She has a huge following. But keep going on with the whole left and right and which side are you on, or it's going to just keep us separated, bro. We need to unite our country. We need to unite the people in this country, man. We need to come together to solve our problem. We need to respect our commander-in-chief. We need to work with our commander-in-chief. And as you can tell, our commander-in-chief, Mr. President Trump, is doing a great job. What he did in Washington, D.C. a couple of weeks ago, incredible. The executive orders, incredible. Putting a stop to the narcos coming into the country, incredible. Putting a stop to the violence between Pakistan and India, incredible. Putting a stop to the violent war that was going on in Africa for years, incredible. Doing the best that he can to put a stop to Ukraine and Russia, incredible. Let's work with our commander-in-chief to solve our problems within the United States. Let's work together. Let's stop saying things and let's stop speaking terrible words into the universe. Let's stop putting negativity into the universe. Let's stop saying things that keep us separated. Let's figure out ways to speak into the universe that could bring us together, that could close the bond. That's where I'm at with that, Once again, man, I'm so happy and grateful, guys, to the people that joined the live tonight, man. I got a whole boatload of comments, man. I appreciate it a lot. I really do, and I like doing this content. So with the help of God, I'm going to continue doing this content, and thanks once again, man. Thanks to everybody out there that joined the live and listened to what I had to say. I really appreciate you guys chiming in and, commenting. Thanks for the comments, guys. Subscribe to the channel, help me grow. But I'm about positivity, guys. Like, I don't like the negative stuff. I don't like the whole, bringing people down stuff. I like uplifting people. I like respecting people for who they are. I'm not into judging people, because God don't want us to judge each other. God don't want us to be disrespectful to each other. I'm a huge fan of respecting people for who they are. I'm a huge fan of respecting people for what make them happy. It's no need to be disrespectful to people for choosing a lifestyle that they're comfortable with. It's no need. It's never a need to be disrespectful to anybody. You know what I mean? So, by that being said, man, may God bless every and all of his kids within the United States. May God bless every and all of his kids around the world, man. Ladies and gentlemen, I always want to end this video saying these words, right? Listen to this. Always treat people with the love, the kindness, the care, the loyalty, and most importantly, the respect that you truly demand from others. In a shorter version, always treat people the way you would like to be treated by others. Always. If you don't want me to talk bad to you, don't talk bad to me. If you don't want me to be disrespectful to you and say bad things to you, don't be disrespectful to me and say bad things to me. That's the reason I like saying those things, because it's very important for you to treat people the way you want to be treated. You want to be respected. Everybody want to be respected. A little baby, literally, a little baby toddler wants to be respected. You understand what I'm trying to say? Every and all of the creation God has on this planet wants to be respected. And respect open doors that you will least expect to be open for you as a human being. I'm telling you, respect matters in this world. Respect really matters. Being yourself and being a good person really matters. It honestly matters. Don't be something else to make others happy. Constantly be yourself. Don't go down the path of taking advantage of people to achieve your goals. Like that woman, to me, this Kansas lady, this lady, I think she's one of those type of people that she will do whatever it takes. She will take advantage of whomever she can to get what she wants in life. This is the type of people you don't want to be in life. Trust me. Don't go down the path of doing what's not right to achieve your goals. Don't do it, because it's short-term success. And people who go down that path of doing bad to others or being manipulators, they will achieve the success. But I promise you, they are never happy people. People who go down the path of earning anything that they have by doing bad to earn it. Being a manipulator is being bad. Taking advantage of people's kindness is bad. Separating people is bad. That's all bad. Believe it or not. If you're creating content and if you're telling people that we have to stay separate, we have to be divided to continue to go along in life, that's terrible. Because if you're a godly person, God wants us to come together. God wants us to work together. God wants us to love each other. So people like that, who is willing to say and do whatever it takes to get what they want in life, eventually they probably achieve it. It's a possibility. People like that achieve the goal. They achieve the goal of getting what they want, but they're never happy. If you truly want to be a happy soul, you have to do what's right. You have to do what's right for everybody, bro. Not just for your friends and family, but for everybody. Do as much good in this universe as you possibly can. As much as you can. Until the next time I see you guys, man, please stay safe. Always, always, guys, do what's right in the eyes of God and his family. Always, always make God and his family a part of your decision making every single day, guys. And the last thing, always remember, everything that you do today is going to ultimately determine the future that you truly have. Okay, let me say it once again. The things that you do today, the decisions that you make today in your life, those are the decisions that's going to ultimately determine your future. So from me to you, do the best you can to make wise decisions. Do the best you can to make good choices. And always include God in your decision making, and your choices that you decide to make, include God. Because with God, everything gets better. Wherever you're at in this world, if you're in the United States, have a good night. If you're in another country, that's his day, have a good day. And God bless you guys all. I really appreciate you guys taking the time to hang out with me. Thank you very, 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 very much from the bottom of my heart. Thank you so much. And God bless all everybody. Have a good night. Have a good day. Till next time, guys.